Remarks by the Executive Director, Citizens Participation Against Corruption Initiative. Comr Bashir Dauda Sabuwar at a round table Kasuna State Budget organized on Thursday, 10 July 2025. It is an honor for me to welcome you to this all-important conversation on the 2025 budget of Kasuna State. As a beginning, I want to remind us that the last time majority of us here did anything related to the budget of Kasuna State was during the public hearing conducted by Kasuna State House of Assembly. I am sorry to say that this has become our tradition. I have noticed as a citizen that there is lack of genuine interest in the budget on the part of even the civil society organizations. Even during the last public hearing on budget in Kasuna State, the number of non-profit organizations that attended was low. So what I'm saying here in a nutshell is that we are here to discuss on the budget of Kasuna State, 2025 approved budget of Kasuna State. And the reasons for convening this conversation is, one, as a member, active member within the civil society organization, I have noticed like a low participation of even the civil society organizations in the budget process. You will agree with me that the last time we had anything with budget was during the public hearing conducted by the Kasuna State House of Assembly. So it is very unfortunate that even we as civil society organizations are not actively participating in the budget process. Because imagine that we only participate during public hearing, and that is all. While we know that we have a role to play from the beginning to the end of the budget process. So our role as civil society organization is not only limited to attending public hearing, but also to other activities surrounding budget process, such as budget monitoring, tracking, and even this kind of forum that we are currently holding. So it is the objective of this forum to increase the participation of community and the civil society organizations in the budget process. We should participate from beginning to the end, and we should add value. That is the main objective of organizing this program, to create awareness so that the level of participation by the civil society organizations in budget process will be increased. Kasuna State Government is currently implementing the 2025 budget type Building Your Future 2. The 2025 approved budget for Kasuna State is 692,449,513 naira 80 kobo only. This is the approved budget, 2025 budget for Kasuna State, which was duly signed by His Excellency the Governor of the State on the 31st of December 2024. It's a problem affecting budget process not only in Kasuna State, but as a developing world, is poor implementation. So just implementing the budget is more important than formulating it. It's easy to just, for example, have a budget, but at the end of the day, if you cannot implement it, it doesn't make any sense. So implementation is very, very important. So that is another reason why we're here, to assess the level of budget performance, both revenue and expenditure performance. Because without implementing the budget, you cannot achieve the development you are after. So to achieve development or to take the state to any level, the budget must be first and foremost to be fully implemented. So, and you will all agree with me that budget implementation is a bane of the development, not only in Kasuna State, but in developing world entirely. You have a budget, but by the end of the year, you will not implement even 15% of it. So does it make any sense? So that's the challenge, budget implementation. So now the citizens will definitely want to know the performance of 2025 budget. We want to know the performance in terms of implementation, both revenue performance, expenditure performance. When I checked the website of Katsina State Government, I saw they have uploaded the performance report for the first quarter of the fiscal year. The target revenue for the first quarter is around 173 billion naira. However, from what is posted on the website, Katsina State has only generated 64 billion naira, a shortfall of over 100 billion naira. Out of this 64 billion naira generated from January to March to 2025, 55 billion naira is from PAC. It is also reported that internally generated revenue falls below target for the first quarter. Just for the first quarter, it is just 9.3% instead of 25%, because the target should be 25%. But from January to March, they only have reached 9.3 instead of 25. So that's why I have mentioned shortfall. I say like a shortfall in terms of revenue performance in the first quarter. I'm sure the representative of the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning here will help us with explanation on why we have shortfall in the revenue performance for the first quarter. So if this trend continues in every quarter, Katsina State Government will only be able to generate less than half of its projected revenue of over 600 billion naira for this financial year. And without revenue, the budget cannot be financed. In contrast, in the 2024 fiscal year, Katsina State has achieved 73% revenue performance and 66.4% expenditure performance. In fact, by the first quarter of the 2024, the internal revenue generated was 4.8 billion naira. That was the last financial year. During the first quarter, the internal revenue of the state during the first quarter was 4.8 billion naira. While now we are talking about revenue from all sources, apart from the FAC, share of FAC, which is 59 billion naira, then you have less than 6 billion naira, including other revenue sources from other sources. Notwithstanding the massive infrastructure project executed across the state by Unguwa administration from 2023 to date, one cannot dispute the fact that there is significant improvement in budget implementation in Katsina State. Some of the reforms introduced by the administration that are effective and efficient budget implementation in Katsina State include Treasury Single Account, TSA, digitizing tax collection, serious project monitoring and evaluation, setting up institutions such as Katsina State Public Complaint and Anti-Corruption Commission, Fiscal Responsibility Commission, and then the oversight which is being conducted by the Katsina State House of Assembly, civil society organizations, and the media. So what I'm saying here is that despite the shortfall we have during the first quarter, generally Katsina State Government, under the able leadership of His Excellency Dr. Comr has been performing spectacularly well in terms of budget implementation, looking at the number of developmental projects being executed across Katsina State. And what also helped the government to be able to achieve this very important feat is the reforms being initiated. What are these reforms? We are all living witnesses to this kind of reforms, such as the Treasury single account, setting up, the digitalization of revenue collection, then setting up of institutions such as the Anti-Corruption Commission, Fiscal Responsibility Commission, among others. So this actually helps the government to be able to achieve greater budget implementation, much more than before, because the advent of, or before the coming of this government, the budget of implementation was very low. Budget performance was low. Sometimes you find that maybe expenditure performance was put at 15 points. The whole year, I'm talking about the whole financial year, was put at maybe 15 point something %. But for the last 2024, that's the last financial year, the revenue performance of Katsina State was put at over 70%, expenditure over 66%. So we have never recorded this kind of achievement before. So that's why we have to commend the government. And it didn't happen by chance. It is because of the reforms that are being implemented, as well as the leadership style of the government. But now the question here I want to ask is that how can we achieve 100% budget performance in Katsina State? Because today there is shortfall. Posted on the website of Katsina State government that there is a shortfall in both expenditure and revenue performance. How come with this trend now, if it continues, how can we achieve 100% budget implementation? That's question number one, which I hope our learned panelists as well as our special guests will help us to address. Then secondly, the promise by His Excellency the Governor of Katsina State that by 2027 Katsina State will be able to at least use its internally generated revenue to finance its recurrent expenditure. So how far have we gone in terms of achieving this milestone? Is it possible that by 2027 the government can use it internally as IGR to finance or to fund its recurrent expenditure? So these are some of the questions which I hope. And then now we have shortfall in the first quarter. I don't know whether maybe the representative of the Ministry of Budget or the honorable member from the Katsina State House of Assembly will clarify what will happen in the second quarter. Because now we are expecting that anytime the Ministry of Budget will publish the budget performance for the second quarter. So that is that.